Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, great. Is Nancy okay? Everything okay here? Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. So first of all, thank you all for being here, and thank Gus for inviting me here to present and talk about my experience in writing and publishing. I'll introduce myself very quickly. So my name is Dhari Buyabes. I graduated from Kuwait University with a bachelor's degree in the English language. And I work as a translator in the morning, and I'm pursuing my master's studies in Kuwait University as well. And Nada here is my colleague, and we're having a blast in Kuwait University. You know, what I like about the graduate school is that you get to postpone life a few years further. So if someone asks you, why are you not married? I'm in graduate school. And if someone tells you, why are you not working? Well, I'm in graduate school. But that applies on people who have it as their full-time, but if you have it as your part-time, if you're doing a master's or PhD part-time, you're someone very unlucky. Well, anyway, okay, my first novel, I published it last year. It's called What's Wrong with Faris. It's about a boy. His name is Faris. He suffers from mild symptoms of sickness. First, he decides to ignore them because they're not that serious, but with time his condition becomes worse and he has to be hospitalized. And through in that journey in his hospital, he learns a number of lessons in life and about friends and family. And I have a Facebook account and a Twitter, and sometimes you get these weird reactions from people. For example, that time I posted a picture of the book on Facebook, and I got one comment. One of the people was saying, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with me." And so, okay, what? And I check his name. His name is Faris. So I was like, okay, report abuse. And another thing, actually, another picture, I posted another picture, and there was a woman, and she tagged her friend, and she said, "I knew that your son requires a manual." And turns out that her friend has a son named Faris. And well, anyway, it's not only Faris who learned lessons in this journey. Me too. When I wrote this book and published it, I learned a number of lessons. And first of all, I think that publishing in Kuwait in English, it's a bit of a challenge. For example, when I self-published my book in my own expenses, and when the printing house they called me, they told me, okay, come and take your copies with you. I went in my car and I took with me these 500 books with me, and you know, in every road pump, because it's not a big car. And so I take the copies with me and I go the next day to work. I'm very happy. I have a copy of my book and I give it to my boss as a sign of appreciation and maybe a promotion. And then the first question he asks me, why is it in English? Okay, yes, it's a legitimate question, but he continues, I can't read it, because his English is not so good. But, you know, this question is really important. I mean, sometimes we question ourselves, why do we write in English? Well, basically, okay, it's a bit of an obstacle and maybe a difficulty, because sometimes we do not have enough readership in English. I mean, most people who read regularly, maybe they probably read in Arabic. And they are minority. People who read regularly, I think they are minority in Kuwait. And so what about people who read in English regularly in Kuwait? They're a minority within a minority. So I found this very difficult. And also another thing about writing in English, and it's very upsetting actually. We have in Kuwait many state-sponsored competitions, awards, and actually most of them only accept Arabic. And for example, one of them is جائزة الدولة التشجيعية, the state-sponsored motivational award or something. And one of the conditions, they say that the work has to be in Arabic, in good Arabic, not even the Kuwaiti dialect. And another strange condition, and I really hate this condition, they say it should not be the first work of the author. So absolutely, I have no hope. It's in English. It's my first book. I have no hope of winning this award. But anyway, I do not want to discourage you from writing in English. Yes. No, 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 no. Actually, I mean, you would get attention because I think people here see it as something new and something exciting and refreshing that they see people writing in English. Like, I got some invitations to speak about a book a number of times in Kuwait TV and other channels, and they were excited to hear this. And okay, you can you come and can you talk about the book and everything? And actually, no one read the book. They were just so excited that they do not have the time to wait and read the book. Just we want you to speak about it. And another thing, there's also another advantage in writing in English. A reader told me how she got to buy my book. It's not through Facebook, Twitter. She told me I was checking the bookstore and there's the new arrivals section, and she was reading the titles, and once she saw a Kuwaiti author, oh, he's Kuwaiti, let me get that book. So sometimes this is how it works. And actually, I have a number of reasons why I write in English. First of all, it's been my major in school, and I'm still pursuing my master's degree, so I feel more comfortable writing in English rather than Arabic. But it's not that I hate Arabic, no, not at all. I always tell my friends how I prefer Arabic poetry over English. For some reason, I enjoy Arabic poetry more. I mean, in English poetry, Wordsworth, the daffodils, is that a poem, really? It's too simple to, flowers and clouds, I wander lonely as a cloud. And it's really different. And, okay. But the second reason, really, writing in English, I find it more fun. Really, I like to write in English. Sometimes you get to experiment with a language, especially if you're bilingual. If you are familiar with Arabic and English, you get to do strange things. You get to insert those awkward translated phrases that you cannot do if your main language is English. And also, you can sometimes use Arabic syntax in English, and that's really what creative writing about. It's about producing something new. And the other thing I would like to talk about, the other lesson that I learned, is that publishing is as important as writing. It's something very difficult, especially if you are new. And what I really suggest here is that even if you haven't finished your first work, for example, just do some research, really learn about how publishing is like. And because sometimes if you're done with your first novel, for example, and you have absolutely no experience in publishing, you might see any option in front of you and you will go ahead. You might rush. But I tell you, just take your time, just see your options, see what available options there. And in Kuwait, you have a number of options if you're writing in Kuwait. For example, we have traditional publishing houses in Kuwait, but most of them, they only accept Arabic works, but we have probably a couple who accept English works. But I didn't really like the quality of their printing and the quality of their editing services and so on, so I did not really publish it through a traditional publishing house in Kuwait. And also you can actually publish outside Kuwait. All these known publishers, Penguin, Vintage. Of course, they will not take your work for granted. You need an agent, and this is something that I learned in the journey. For my book, I tried to contact a number of agencies, so that they can represent me outside Kuwait, and too bad all of them rejected me. And they had a legitimate reason, actually. They said that your novel, it's about Kuwait, it's something very local, and we do not think that our audience will relate to it. And especially because my book, it's just a simple drama. I think if you want these publishers to get you, okay, make a list of all the taboos that your society thinks they are taboos, and break them all, and this is the only way, to get attention. And the most important thing, you take your book to the Ministry of Mass Information, get it banned. Of course, you're sure it will be banned. So get it banned there, and then tell the agencies, oh, my book is banned, and they will get you. And actually, the last option I found for myself, it's actually self-publishing, which is in my own expenses. It's something nice, but you really need a budget. Because there are editing services, and I think I was ripped off. Because I told the company, okay, they had a number of services, and I told them, I want the editing service. And they said, that's okay, that's great. We'll give you our editing service. And after they checked my book and everything, okay, everything was great. They helped me with my diction, with my vocabulary, and they helped me with the sentence structure and a lot of things. But there was a note at the end. Well, we had an in-depth look in your book, but we might skip something superficial, the superficial grammatical mistakes and these things. So you need our other service. It's a proofreading service. The proofreading service is different from the editing service. So I had to pay them twice. And it's really, it's a lesson that I learned. And okay. And actually, just one more thing. It's important, especially for writers in Kuwait. You have to be familiar with the laws and the censorship in Kuwait about writing. We have in Kuwait what they call قانون المطبوعات والنشر, Kuwait's publishing and printing law. And we have actually a list of forbidding things that you cannot talk about. And first of all, most obviously, you're not allowed to insult religion, God, or the Prophet and the family of the Prophet and his companions. But I think there's a problem here because sometimes people cannot distinguish between criticism and between, just insulting that. And actually, what I had to do, I had to self-censor myself. Get myself censored. Okay. So I familiarized myself with these laws. And actually, I had to omit some paragraphs because I know the next day I will go to them and ask them for permission. And actually, I had a paragraph mocking censorship in Kuwait. So I thought maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe I should just omit it. And when I went there, actually, they read. I give them a copy of my book, and they said, "Come the next day, so that we tell you if it's accepted or not." And actually, they read the book, and they left everything important in the book, all the gender issues, all the politics, and everything. They just focused on one thing. I had a paragraph about members of the parliament, and they were like, "Are you referring to real members of parliament?" Told them, no, it's a fictitious story. No, not at all. Okay, you're accepted. And okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. And thank you very much. And I think we're leaving the questions toward the end, if you can note them down. Thank you very much.
Right. Sahar, right. You're using the pen.